Hi everyone, this is Bookast Reviews, and I'm back from my vacation and I'm ready to review the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure. So, overall, this figure is good, but I do have my problems with it, so kind of more about that in a second after I go over some of the details and stuff like that. So, of course, since this is a Build-A-Figure, it doesn't come with any accessories, so straight on to the face sculpt. So for the head sculpt, I think it looks really, really nice. I love this, all of the sculpting and paint on this figure is just amazing. It's actually really phenomenal. Like on his trunks right here, I'm just calling this his trunk. I really don't know what these are, his face trunk thingies. They've got some nice sculpting to them. They actually have texture to them. They have a dry brushing of black in between all the creases. That looks really nice. And then he's got that like seaweed or grass and vines sculpted in right there and painted on, which is, all of this figure has a nice color to it. You can see that it has a dry brushing of dark brown, black, light brown, and I think a little bit of light green too, like right here, that's light green. So he actually has a lot of paint going on for him, and I really like that. Here's his arms. Now, this is where I had a lot of problems with the figure, both of the arms. Getting him like straight out of the package, just taking his arm out of the package, his hand broke straight off. And I actually can't move this still. I did put a screw into it and put it back up in the hole. That way it would still be able to turn, but now it will just move side to side. So, and the other arm is actually the same way. Like if you try to move the hand just falls off, which it doesn't break. This one doesn't, but it doesn't really want to budge, and I don't want to force it because, you know, this one's snapping off like that. And actually, the arms on him, his arms are very loose. Like you can see, there's quite a bit of gappage going on right there, and it's very, let me see here, let me just turn it like that. Like, you can see the gap right there. So that does bother me. But other than that, his arms are actually sculpted really nicely. And his like arm, the grass right here on his arm, it's actually really, really sharp. Like, there's my finger. Left a mark right there. You can tell right here where it left a mark. It's so sharp. It doesn't really bother me, but now that I'm touching it, whew, sharp. On his back is where a lot of the sculpt is really awesome. He's got all those weeds and vines and stuff, and a root right here. I think that root should have been like brown. Like, there should have been more brown on his back than there really is. And one thing that I thought was really weird is on his right shoulder. He has this hole right here, which is kind of weird. And I'm not really sure what it's to. Like, there's really no reason for it. But right here, the sculpt lacks a little bit. Like, the sculpting is there, but it looks like it was smoothed down a little bit. Like, right here, you get all this texturing and all this color and sculpt. And then up here, it gets a little smoother, which I thought was really odd. At the top of his head, too. But he does have a lot of sculpting just all over. And I actually do think the sculpting is just I'm not sure compared to the Toy Biz one. I'm going to have to do a toy showdown between the original Toy Biz Man-Thing and this Man-Thing, because both of them are really good, but I do have my problems with this one. You can see right there, like the like loincloth made of vines, I guess, has a lot of different color to it. It has brown and really light green color dry brushed over, which looks really nice. He's got more, like he's actually got like, not really sure what these are. Kind of look like bubbles in his form. So that looks really nice. Hold on here. There, need to brighten up the settings a little bit so you can see that there. Looks really nice. But on his legs, there's not as much paint variation as there is on the torso. You can see that there's a little bit, but not much. Like down here on his shins, he's got a lot of this grass, like this tall grass right here. And there's a lot of paint variation and sculpting there. So that's really nice. But then, like up here, you just, it's the same color green, just kind of like that olive green color. And then you get this that has all of that sculpting detail and paint, which I thought was really odd. That, like, the top of the legs doesn't have any paint detail, and then the bottom does. Then there's Man-Thing toes. Actually looks nice. That's really nice right there. It's got that dry brushing of light brown on that. Trying to brighten up the settings more to be able to see it. It was a little dim right there. He's got a lot of sculpting going on his toes. There are his toenails. And he doesn't. He has peg holes on his feet. It's smooth right here. I actually figured the bottoms of his feet would actually be sculpted out, but it's not. So that's really about all with this figure. And it was a nice Build-A-Figure, but you know it wasn't the greatest. It didn't really meet my expectations just because of the arms, and I will go over that right now because it's mostly like articulation wise and like posing it around. So for his articulation, he's got a ball jointed head, and it's actually kind of odd because he's actually kind of meant to hunch over like that when you're posing him, because that's actually how he looks right. But if you stand him up, you can see he is looking up, like upward. So his ball jointed head can look up that far, can only look down because of his like mane, I guess, like his face. Not really sure what that is. Like I can't really look down because of his face grass. Not really sure. And it can move side to side like that. It's really odd. Actually, just let me take the head off to show the joint. You can see it has those notches right there in it. So that's another reason it's kind of odd with the articulation here. Now for his shoulders, trying to move the left shoulder out, it always does that to me and does that. So both of these arms are really like I tried to just move that back down and it just popped out. So trying to pose this figure around, my arms on this Man-Thing always pop off. So I'm going to try and just try and work around that. Okay, so his shoulders can move out that far. He's got a swivel at the bicep that is very, very loose. And you can see it bends like that, which really bothers me. He's got a single jointed elbow. Doesn't really do much. He's got a swivel at the wrist that can move side to side. And mine can't move up and down because when you try, hand pops off. And like even, I had a, let me show. This is boiling water. And I held it down in here for quite a while. Okay, let me just dry that off here. This is boiling water. So it should be gummy. So let's try that now. Well, that's the most that I got it. Let me try it. No. See, that's what really bothers me about this figure. It's actually, when I was building it, like, I got the legs and the torso first. And I got the arms and the head last. But when I got the legs and the torso, I was still really excited about this figure. And I put the head on, I was still excited, and then I put the arms on, and then that happened. Which really bothers me. Like, the articulation for the left arm is actually a little bit different. He's got a swivel at the bicep that is very hard to move. You can hear it there. I don't know if the camera is, or the microphone is actually picking that up, but it's making like a really weird noise because the joints are, like, there's really no gappage. There's a little bit of gappage, but it's really tight to move it, which is really odd. And for his single jointed elbow, I'm going to break the hand off again if I try. I can't even move his left arm, the elbow on his left arm. That single joint is just terrible right there. And, hey, it actually stayed on there. So maybe I need to hold them in like that. But, which you shouldn't have to hold the arms in on a Build-A-Figure in order to keep the arms on. That's just something that shouldn't be like that. So, he's got an ab crunch that can go all the way forward. Which is the way I kind of like to leave him displayed, kind of hunched over like that. He can crunch back. He's got a swivel at the waist. He's got ball jointed hips that can just about do a split. He can kick forward just a little bit. He can kick back just a little bit. He's got a swivel at the thigh, double jointed knee, a swivel at the ankle that moves up and down. And this is actually very soft. The weeds right here, the grass right here, the weeds, grass, whatever. Doesn't actually hinder his articulation. You can move his ankle all the way up and all the way down. And he's got an ankle rocker that can move all the way too. So that's why I said, like the lower half of this figure and the torso, and even the head, once I got the head on, was really, really awesome. And then once I got the arms on, it was really a letdown for me. It could just be mine, but I mean, for both arms to be like that, honestly makes me think that all of the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure pieces were like that. So that does really, really bother me because, you know, I was really excited for this wave. I mean, it had some really solid characters in it. And even though I already had the Toy Biz version of this, I was really excited for an update one that was bigger. And then I got this, which really wasn't to my expectations. So now I'm going to do some comparisons here. Wait, here. There. I don't know why my camera keeps doing that. Like dimming. But, here is Man-Thing, and I'm going to do comparisons in the order from my favorite to my least favorite of all of the Netflix characters. So here Man-Thing is next to Bullseye, my favorite figure from this wave. My second favorite figure, Punisher. Wait, I need to center him up just a little bit there. Punisher. Here he is next to Elektra. It actually looks really awesome together. Imagine if these two would team up. That'd be something to see. That'd be really awesome. So we're on here. Okay. Here he is next to Blade, my fourth favorite. Then here he is next to Jessica Jones, which is still a really good figure. And actually, honestly, even though this is a Netflix wave that's kind of centered around the Netflix characters, and mainly Daredevil here, this was actually my least favorite figure out of the wave. I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite. Just my personal preference, of course. So my least favorite figure out of this wave was Daredevil, which I know a lot of people are going to, not like because this. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what it was about the figure. I think it was not having an alternate head and just coming with alternate fists that I didn't like about this figure. And then finally, here Man-Thing is next to the Toy Biz Man-Thing. And he is missing a thumb because when I moved to my new house, it broke off and I was never able to find it. So even though, hold on here, let me get him posed there. Not really wanting to stand. Okay, I'm going to have to hold him up here. So here is the Toy Biz Man-Thing, and I'm really thinking that this is a better figure, just because he's kind of tall and slender, and just looks kind of more unnatural, because this one's really hulking. And I do like that he has broke-off tree branches in his back. That looks really awesome. As you can see, this figure is really detailed. Like, it actually has more paint detail and sculpting than the other Man-Thing. Plus, I just like this head. I think it looks freakier, honestly. Like, it looks mean. Like, this one kind of looks like he's going, and this one looks like he's going like that. Like, he's got a mean look going on. This one just looks meaner to me. So leave a comment down below and tell me which of these is your favorite. I will be doing a toy showdown sometime this week with these two figures. Not sure when. I just know someday this week. And then we will see who would win in a toy showdown. So that's my review. So overall, this Build-A-Figure isn't really anything to sneeze at. And if you only wanted a couple figures out of the wave, I'd recommend just getting the couple figures and not getting this Build-A-Figure. And if you have the original Man-Thing, just skip the wave altogether to just have that Man-Thing, because that one definitely is better. And like I said, it could just be mine, but I'm disappointed with mine. So that's my review. And if you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.